Hello everyone, I'm Nick Moline, and today I'm going to be talking to you about President Trump's tests with his foreign policy. I think we could talk a lot about this issue is with the state of the world, how many issues there are, especially with the United States, and how much of a large role it plays with so many countries, and just the imbalance that seems to be going on with all of the politics right now. As far as President Trump's greatest test, I think right now is the Syrian conflict. Right now it's currently Saturday morning, and we're just kind of waking up with the news of another attack on Syria. The attack came in response to chemical attacks, and on NPR, an article from Scott Horsley, he talks about President Trump's reaction to this, and there's a quote saying, "The evil and despicable attack left mothers, fathers, infants, and children thrashing in pain and gasping for air." He also says that this is not the actions of a man; these are crimes of a monster instead. This, I think, fairly well sums up his viewpoint on the issue, and goes back to, if we have the power to help helpless people, isn't that kind of our human responsibility, just as another human, to go ahead and take care of this? Now, with the Assad regime in Syria, it's kind of a tricky spot, because the Assad regime is backed by Russia, and Russia is not exactly an ally of the United States, and we're already in very brittle terms with them, and to continually kind of thwart the Assad regime while the Russians are helping the Assad regime is a very interesting dynamic in how it is all working out. It has been very interesting to see it all play out, and I'll talk about an article from the Washington Post that kind of sums up the attack. On April 14th, the Pentagon said that the U.S. strikes in Syria had successfully hit every target and were aimed to deliver an unambiguous signal to the Syrian government and deter the future use of chemical weapons. As far as my personal experiences in the Marine Corps, I'm very thankful that I never faced any chemical weapons of any kind. We had to do gas mask training and go to the gas chamber every year, and it's one of those kind of humbling moments where you think back to World War I, where trench warfare and mustard gas was such a big thing. I can't imagine a government using this on their people. A lot of people in the United States think that we have it bad, and we have a bad political structure right now and bad leaders, but I think we can all agree that it could be a lot worse. No one is getting gassed, and that's a terrible, terrible way to go. As far as President Trump handling the situation, he announced the military action from the White House, saying that the three allies, being French and British, had marshaled their righteous power against barbarism and brutality. This, I think President Trump has been one of the most outspoken presidents we've had in a long time, and I think we can all make our own opinions if that's good or bad, if Twitter's the proper way to be going about things, but it's not my place here to talk about those issues. It will be very interesting to see Russia's reaction and kind of retaliation. Putin from Russia is saying that it's time for the UN to meet. Obviously we need to get a lot of these leaders together to talk about these issues so that the world can go on. I also thought it was interesting in the MP article, President Trump was talking about how let me see if I can find my notes just so I'm giving you guys the right information here. He remains an American first, and he disdains his role as a global policeman. I think that that's very, I really agree with that. It's too bad that we do have to go around and police everybody at our own expense. I feel like, at least in my lifetime, we've been running around doing that a lot with the war on terrorism and going into all these countries trying to solve their problems. The country, the United States, has almost assigned itself as a national policeman, and it definitely is a very expensive and a very slow process to fix problems that have been going on over the years. So I think it'll be interesting to see how President Trump's his new kind of military campaign in Syria, how that moves forward, and how Russia responds, and the rest of our allies respond also that are closer over there. And we'll see if there's any more strikes to go on, or if we can all come to a little bit more political and peaceful agreement.